Hello and welcome to the latest from Hearts Standard. My name is Joel Sked and I'm joined by James Kearney. How's it going, James?
I'm very well, thanks. How you getting on, man?
Yes, good. Not too bad. We are recording at midday rather than our usual kind of slot later in the afternoon because Hearts press conference has been moved due to the weather. So I think they were due to, I don't know if for a fact, but just I think they moved indoors. So they were due to train this morning outdoors, but because of the weather is hopeless through in Edinburgh, I think they've moved indoors. So they've had to move it about. So I'll be heading straight to there after the call. And we're here to preview this St Mirren game at the weekend in the Scottish Premiership. But before we jump in, I need to ask you, James, is your boiler on its last legs? I know for a fact it isn't, but still, now is the perfect time for a word about our sponsors. Viessmann, renowned for their exceptional German engineering, is a leader in the boiler industry worldwide. They've now partnered with Scotland's own award-winning installation team, MPH Boilers, for a collaboration that's a match made in Scotland. When it comes to heating, Viessmann boilers stand out with efficiency and reliability, thanks to their advanced technology. And with the local expertise of MPH Boilers, you're guaranteed top-tier installation and service. Together, they're offering an unbeatable deal, a free internet controller with every Viessmann boiler, making it effortless to control your heating. Plus, they're throwing in the first year service for free, ensuring your peace of mind. If you've been thinking about upgrading your boiler, there's never been a better opportunity. With Viessmann's world-class engineering and MPH Boilers award-winning service, your home heating is in the best hands. Viessmann and MPH Boilers, yes, it's a match made in heaven. Don't wait until it's too cold. Check them out today and step into a warmer, more efficient home. Now, James, St Mirren on Saturday. I'm apprehensive about this one. How are you feeling looking ahead to it?
Yeah, I think you've every right to be honest. Like, we know that St Mirren's a tricky place for any team in the league to go. We know that. I think back to that game back in, was it September? It might have even been the first game we covered, actually.
It was the first game of Hearts Standard.
Yeah, and it was obviously there was that 1-0 win when, I remember the goal was a big mix up at the back between Kent and Clark, if I remember rightly.
Yep.
And then
Cammy Devlin was playing from the right.
Yeah, that was the game. Devlin was kind of in a weird position, and then also St Mirren got 3 goals chopped off, where at least 1 or 2 of them you would have thought, "Whoa, that's tight."
Yeah, and then even at the end we could have got a result because Shankland had a great chance.
He had that last chance, to death. That's right. So thankfully though, so I think if you look back at that, you could easily go, "Oh God, this could be a really tough game." I think thankfully though, Hearts are a different team then to what they are now, and both in terms of personnel and both in terms of the way they play and the different kind of systems they can employ as well. So I think that while that serves as an obvious warning of like the threats that St Mirren do pose and how dangerous they can be, I would argue as well that Hearts have come a long way since then, and they're probably now better equipped to deal with a team like that than they were, 6 months ago or whatever it was.
Yeah, absolutely. I just my fear is just that form has gone slightly downhill, and then you add into the fact that I think the match. I hate using the term means more, but I think there's more riding on it. Actually, let's just say more riding on it for St Mirren. They really should be. They should be top 6, but they are still potentially looking over their shoulder a wee bit at Dundee and Hibs because they can get dragged in it, especially with St Mirren. The game before the break is Celtic. The game before the split is Celtic. I was actually speaking to Alex Gogic during the week, and he was basically saying that I think there's frustration at St Mirren that they've not already wrapped up a top 6 spot, and I think this week is I think they've just going by what he said, the St Mirren squad are like, this should be the week that we need to wrap up rather than wait for other teams to confirm their place and then or wait to the Celtic games. So add that onto the fact that St Mirren are just a really tricky team to play against. They're a good side and they're solid. They're pretty solid at home. Again, so Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, and Kilmarnock are the only teams to have picked up more points, although Hearts and Kilmarnock have played a game more. But they too have not been at their best the last 2 games. So yeah, like Ben says it pretty much pretty accurately. I can see St Mirren winning just as much as you can see Hearts winning. Let's get the 3 points and get third practically wrapped up. I think it's a hard one to call because of the dynamics of play. Also, Hearts have struggled at Paisley for as long as I can remember. It's 4 wins in the last 16. That says, I mean, you could probably say a lot about the away games or away grounds around the country. So before we get into the game itself, what are you thinking team-wise? We've obviously not got the team news from the press conference, but Ben's asking, is Neuenhoff back for the game? When we spoke to him, he was very much the case of, if I'm not on the bench for Kilmarnock, I'll be looking to come back the week after. So I'm confident that Neuenhoff will be available. Will you go with a back 4 or a back 3 for this one?
Honestly, I'm tempted to go with a back 3. I think
same.
Yeah, just because I think, particularly if you're playing Rose in there, which I think he probably needs to be part of a back 3 for this one. Like we saw what happened he got absolutely ragdolled in that game back in September.
Yeah,
if memory serves me right, he really struggled. And I think a back 3 of, say, Kent, Rose, Kingsley would make a lot of sense. I would imagine. Again, just try to, we know that St Mirren like to kind of break forward in the counters. I think having someone with Rose's pace is really good for the recovery, for if they do kind of sneak in behind.
Especially if they've got Olasanya. So he played against Motherwell. So I think they played as the right of a front 3. He was the guy who bullied Rose back in September, but he is quick. He's really quick and he's a handful. So while he's got that physicality, Rogue's pace will help in that instance.
Yeah, exactly. On paper, at least, anyway.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, I think particularly just we know that it's going to be a big physical battle. We know the strikers are going to get tight. Get really physical with the defenders. So I think that having an extra centre back in there for a bit of extra security wouldn't go amiss. Now I feel like I'm always pitching the back 3 very much every week at the moment, but I do quite strongly feel for this one that it's really it'd make a lot of sense, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm of the same opinion. I've went for the same back 3 that you have suggested, just because of the balance it brings, the solidity it brings, but because St Mirren, their last 3 goals have come from corners or set. I think it's just corners, if not then set pieces. And again, they pose a threat with they tick a lot of the Scottish Premiership boxes that you need. They're big and physical, and that's not a criticism, that's praise. And I think every team needs to have that ability in Scottish Premiership. I just think having the 3 centre backs helps with the zonal marking, as does having Alex Cochrane in there. So that's why I've went for those 3. Obviously, Cochrane, left wing back. Who have you gone for? Who would you play right wing back? Because obviously we discussed in length yesterday about Lembikisa and Atkinson, and you wrote about it. In my first 11, before I changed it, I actually had Alan Forrest playing at wing back, but I've reneged on that because of reasons we'll come on to discuss. So I think he'll play Atkinson.
Joe, I was thinking Atkinson as well. Yeah, I think just purely because Lembikisa was poor at the weekend before. Like, I think that after that performance, I think Atkinson will probably be saying like, "Oh, come on, give me a chance, Gaffer." Yeah. So yeah, I would expect it to be Atkinson. I think having someone like Lembikisa to come on, who can then, if Hearts are still chasing the game or needing a goal, having something able to bring him on is definitely gives you an extra dimension in attack going forward, which is a good option to have. But as we've talked about at length yesterday, he just needs to be using the ball a lot more carefully. He can be careless on the ball at times, and he needs to be just contributing more, particularly in the final third, whether that be through crosses or just kind of general link up and build up play as well. So yeah, I'd expect it'd be Atkinson. I know I was advocating for Kingsley, but I think if you've got the back 3, then I think Kingsley got to play the back 3 for sure. I don't think Kingsley's a wing back. I think that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, I think if Kingsley was played as a right wing back, it would be a mutiny. Even just from us. So yeah, I think the important, and this will kind of bring us on to the midfield and who plays in the midfield. The important thing about the formation that we've selected so far is there's always a wariness that it can become a back five, especially if you're playing two guys who are in Cochrane and Atkinson, who are more fullbacks than they are wing backs, that it becomes a back five. And it's really important that doesn't happen, because you end up just having no way out when you're trying to play and build up from the back. So that's why it's important that they start wide and higher up, and that you have two midfielders who are able to take care of the ball and take care of under pressure. Because like you said, St Mirren get in your face. They make it very, very difficult for you. So you can't have guys who are loose with possession, because that's what they want. They want to steal it off you. They want to hit you on the counter attack, and they just kind of lay traps for you throughout the game. And that's where you need smart players who are smart on the ball. I'm not going for a midfield 3. I've gone for a midfield 2 of just Callum Neuenhoff and Benny Beningame.
I think that makes a lot of sense. The only thing I'd say is we don't know if Neuenhoff. I think it's safe to assume he's going to be in the squad, but whether or not he's fit enough to start, I don't know. But I certainly follow the logic, and I agree with it. Like, I think Benny's a shoot-in, has to be. And then the question if he partners him, then if he's fit, then Neuenhoff, of course, it should be. If not, gets a bit trickier at that point. At that point, I'd probably go for Benny at the 6, and then I'd probably go for 2 centre mids, probably Grant and Devlin, I think.
I changed. Originally, when I was writing it down, I had Benny's at 6, and then I had in front of him, I had Neuenhoff and Macaulay Tate. As like just 3 guys who can get about, but also take care of the ball. But then I just thought, watching Motherwell watching St Mirren in their draw with Motherwell got a lot of joy down the flanks. So it was especially their left wing back, Georgie Gent, I think it is. He was
he's a good player.
Yeah, he's a really, really good player. He was exploiting the space behind Ryan Strain first of all, and then Strain got taken off at half time, and Elvis Bawonmo, I think, that came on, and that's where a lot of Motherwell's joy came from, was playing combinations down the left hand side, or just looking for the ball in behind the right wing back, between the right wing back and the right centre back, for the left for Gent to run on to and put crosses at the box. I just thought that he can kind of go with a 3-4-3 and have still maintain the front three, have Forrest and Vargas kind of wide, and then that allows them to combine with the wing backs, stretch the game, and try and pull out the centre backs, because St Mirren want you to go for the middle, because that's where they have a lot of players, and that's where they want to they just gobble everything up. Whereas if you're able to stretch it laterally across the pitch to open up space for Shankland or Forrest coming off one wing, or Vargas coming off the other. So that's my thinking. I'm probably overthinking it, but that's my thinking of trying to get the best of St Mirren.
It's a compelling argument. I think you've convinced me. Yeah, I'm up for the 3-4-3 then. Yeah, let's do that. 3-4-3. Yeah. But I guess my only question would be for you is then, if Neuenhoff isn't fit enough to play, who would you rather see? Who would you start alongside Benny?
That's a good question. I'd probably go Tate. I would. I think he's earned the trust. Yeah, it didn't go quite. He wasn't perfect against Kilmarnock, but you did right. It's like his performance could have been so much better if his teammates were aware of the movements he was making. He is someone. I don't think he's going to be bullied or intimidated by the St Mirren midfield or that physical challenge. I don't think he's been in the Lowland League. He's dealt with it. In an article I wrote about Macaulay Tate and his rise to the first team, one of the coaches, one of the guys who coached him when he was coming through Hearts, he told me that he was at a B game. I think it was Bo'ness, and he watched him get kicked up in the air for 90 minutes, and he just kept getting up, getting the ball and playing again, and just kind of laughing. So he doesn't mind that side of things. He understands he's going to have to get a kick, but he will still he's tenacious to get about the pitch. So yeah, I would. I've got. I don't know if it's because I'm a Macaulay Tate stan, and I've bought all the shares in him that I think he should start if Neuenhoff's not fit.
No, fair enough. No, yeah, like I think you're right. I mean, I think if you can, I think he handled himself fairly well against Kilmarnock. And again, obviously, it wasn't perfect, but he did some stuff really well. Some stuff could have been a bit better. Of course, he's 18, making his first start. That's going to happen. But I would argue, yeah, if you can handle the physicality of Kelly's midfield, you can handle the physicality of St Mirren. You know, if you're playing against, you know, like Liam Donnelly, and you know, not looking at a place, you're probably fine against St Mirren as well. So yeah, I think that's probably fair. I'm assuming on the wings, then, have you just got Forrest and Vargas, or do you see Oda coming back into the squad for this one?
So actually, I actually didn't think of when I was picking my 11. I didn't really consider Oda as for a starting spot. Actually, he was more considering Barry Mackay, but I still think it's probably a bit too soon for Mackay to start, especially because he's coming back from his third injury this season, and I would assume that Naismith won't want to give him too many minutes too soon and just bring him back gradually. So he came off.
The other thing, sorry to jump in, but just the other thing as well is that no disrespect to St Mirren, but you know, they're a physical team. You know, they're going to, you know, they'll make some big tackles and stuff. Like, do you want the guy who's just coming back from, you know, 4 months off or whatever it is, you know, getting kicked hard? Like, I don't know, or just, you know, being in these big physical challenges. So again, that's another thing I'd maybe go, ooh, maybe shouldn't be starting this game in particular.
Yeah, I think Mackay at the moment, I think you're just building him back to starting starting games. I think starting games maybe a few weeks down the line, maybe after the split potentially. But when the game opens up, I think you've got a really good player to come off the bench there who can see passes and see spaces and take advantage of it. So yeah, that's my thinking going into St Mirren. But as we've seen in the past, that our suggestions, I don't think I've got a team right this. I think you've done it a couple of times, but our suggestions usually way off the mark.
Yeah, it just shows what we know, you know, at the end of the day. But no, I like the 3-4-3 thing though. I think you make a good point. And part of me wonders if Oda could come back into the squad for that reason, and that he's probably Hearts' best winger when it comes to kind of stretching the game, you know, getting line, you know, if he's playing the best he can and all that kind of stuff. But you know, he's quick, he can be very direct when he wants to be, and I think that he's probably, I would argue he's probably the best at stretching the game. But then it seems harsh to drop Vargas at the moment as well. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say I was going to ask you who you drop, because I would actually not drop Vargas. I would have dropped Forrest. And really, that's interesting.
Bench,
right?
And so basically have Vargas on the left coming in field, and then Oda on the right who's stretching it and kind of playing wide.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see it. But you know, this is the nice thing now. Like, even compared to just a couple of weeks ago, there's options now in that front three. You know, or even if it's a front two, then there's options there as well. You know, the forward line for the last couple of months has not really been, you know, we've seen Oda being out injured, Barry Mackay being out injured, you know, Tagawa not really performing, you know, not really scoring goals and all the rest of it. Boyce out injured as well. You know, like the front, you know, it's basically Forrest, Shankland and Vargas have been it for the attacking options. But now obviously we've got guys like Barry Mackay back, we've got Oda back, Boyce hopefully back before the end of the season as well. There are options now where it's not a case of like, well, if we play these guys and we stay in this shape, they're all playing the 90 minutes come what may. So, you know, there are alternatives now, and that can make all the difference, you know. So I think it's a nice selection headache for Stephen Naismith to have. It's certainly not a bad one.
Yeah, it would obviously be helped if Boyce was fit. Daniel was asking, when will Boyce be back? I reckon he might back the last couple of games of the season. And again, I think it's not one they want to rush. If they can get him back, similar to Halkett, get a couple of games and then have a full pre-season, that would be a huge benefit to both the players. Here's a question for you, James. One posed by Ben. Do we play a similar team and similar formation over the next two games to gain familiarity, or do we rest players and change it up for Hampden? So looking ahead to the Scottish Cup semi-final, do you think that you begin to kind of look ahead and prepare for that, or just take it one game just treat each game as set, like kind of separately?
Yeah, well, out of those two options, to be honest, I'd say neither. I don't think that you set up for Livingston at home the same way you do for playing Rangers, because that's just I mean, they're different games. They've just got completely different demands. Like same as St Mirren away in Rangers, you can maybe make an argument there's some similarities there, but certainly, no, I don't think that's how it works. And again, in terms of resting players, I don't think there's really a need to rest players either. Like, the games are on. It's not just a really hectic fixture schedule, and it's you need to kind of carefully manage the game time. It's a game a week at the moment, and I would much rather, to be honest, see the strongest team playing week in, week out, getting them all minutes, getting them all match ready. Particularly guys like, for instance, Kent and Neuenhoff, Mackay as well, to an extent, where they're coming back from injury.
Yeah,
and to just get them so that when that game comes around, when that semi comes around, they're fit and ready to go and ready to make an impact, whether that be starting or coming off the bench later on.
I think you could ask the players that as well. I don't think they would want kind of time off. I think they'd want to keep ticking over to then come into
just maintain that momentum.
Yeah. What would so this kind of leads on to the next point about winning tomorrow, hopefully winning tomorrow and winning against Livy, is just trying to build that momentum going into the semi-final. I think we've spoken about it before. Need to get back to winning form. It helps on the pitch in terms of confidence, momentum, those kind of intangibles, but also off the pitch. Winning tomorrow, winning against Livingston can build confidence off the pitch in terms of the support and to get basically sell tickets to encourage people to sell out the Hearts side of Hampden and make it that 50-50 split, which will be massive. Also, winning these games and hopefully, especially with Livy, winning them comfortably. When you're talking about resting players, you maybe can take Shankland off after an hour or 70 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And
then give Tagawa an opportunity if possible. But again, we've still not seen it from Hearts where games are wrapped up with 30 minutes, 20 minutes to go.
I would also say that I can't think of a worse game for Tagawa to play in than Livingston at home. I just in terms of, he likes to get in, try and break in behind. That's a game where it will be 10 men camped behind the ball for 90 minutes. We know exactly what it's going to be.
The hope would be though that if you're 2-0 up, 3-0 up, that you've got so much of the ball that you might start to create chances.
3-0 up. That's not happened this season.
I know. I'm getting way too ahead of myself.
Yeah, but I think I think you want to be playing your strongest players and building that squad, building that momentum, and obviously. I think Ben's kind of pointed out earlier when he said that he could see St Mirren winning, he could see Hearts winning as well. The reason a win tomorrow in particular would really raise spirits is because it's a tough game, and it's because one of these games it could go either way, and people are unsure. And it's those ones when you do get a win there, that does boost morale more than say beating Livingston at home the following week. Because it is a tight game, it is a crunch game. The opposition are really up for it. There's a fair bit on the line. And to still come through that and get a win, that's a sign of a really, professional team, and that's what obviously the fans want to see. So, I think for that reason as well, I think a victory tomorrow would go a long way. But by the same token, I think as well that a defeat would be bad. I think it's fair to say. I think that would be a disappointment, but I don't think a draw would be the worst thing in the world either. I get it's not great. I get obviously that's not ideal, but I don't think it would be, the end of the world.
Yeah, I agree.
Hearts are in at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the team have done so well to get themselves into that position that they can afford to slip up. But again, you want to have that mentality where you're looking to win and you're not kind of moving on from that mentality. Because all right, okay, if we don't win, it's fine. We've got.
Oh no, of course.
And I think it's an important game. There's obviously really important games early in the season. We always talked about being must win and the importance of just for the kind of the music around the club changing it. This is an important win for a completely different reason that we've talked about, that to boost morale and it's all those kind of things that help with confidence, etc. But it's just, I think, just trying to get third place properly secured before the split, before the cup semi-final, is can be massive and can just change the dynamic around the support. Because you take it back to after the Celtic game, if the Rangers semi-final, everyone will be going in flying high, and then it's kind of like the last few results have just knocked it a wee bit. But tomorrow, like you said, it's a perfect opportunity to again put down somewhat of a statement. Then that this is a team who are one of those in the chasing pack. It is a quote-unquote hard place to go, that Hearts don't have a great record, and it's a possibility to finally get that 10th away win in a top flight season, which would be would be another massive tick of achievement of this season.
And you'd finally get to update your spreadsheet, because I know you've been waiting.
Yeah, I know. Finally,
you're very attached to your away win spreadsheet.
I don't need to update it. I can just delete it. Finally done double figures. It's fine. I can just consign it to the history. So, James, give me a prediction for tomorrow.
Joe, I'll go for a 2-1 win for Hearts. I think it'll be
okay.
I think it'll be an edgy one. I think it'll be tight, but I think Hearts to make it through, get the win, get back on track.
I am very much a fence sitter and enjoy my spot on the fence, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. So yeah, there we go. Hopefully you're right and I'm wrong, but we will see. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and continue to support. Subscribe. Remember, we have the Heart Standard app. Would encourage you, if you do read our stuff, if you do subscribe, to download the app and read and consume the content through that, because I really do. It's absolutely fine on the desktop. It looks good, but the app's even better. And especially with analysis PCs, stats PCs, the pictures and graphics are a lot sharper and clearer. So yes, I would definitely encourage anyone to go for the app. And also, if you can, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be a massive help. But until Monday, when we'll be back to review the weekend's result, that will be us. We'll have all the kind of latest looking ahead to the St Mirren game on the site over the afternoon, with injury update, and then Stephen Naismith Q&A going out this evening at 10:30 because of the embargo. But until Monday, thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye, and hopefully have a very, very good weekend.